Okay. Beta. I'm gonna show y'all boys where I'm from, man. I'm from. All right, what it do, still with the camera sound like a lamb, big boss hog, boss dog, K-Po through the door, hit the top this box and fuck my soliloquy. Remember, tough times don't last, good people do the knife yourself, caught him in the highlight, maybe you met a peak game, made the frozen what's one. All right, your boy sick, man. That's why I'm in the house. Doctor said I gotta stay in the house. I'm normally disobedient, but I'm sick to the point where, like, I'm basically can't physically do nothing. You know what I'm saying? All I can do is sit in the house and, make sure I'm clean. That's the only thing I can do. But Jambu Ennis, man. But y'all can tell the perk from it. Jambu Ennis gets a stoppage round one. It was like a minute and some change left from the first round. This was his debut at 154. He stops him in spectacular fashion, man. He came out orthodox, using the jab, kept that jab Lima face, used a little lateral movement, countered Lima, and then he switched to southpaw, and then he was able to land a hook. It was like an uppercut, then a hook, and that's how he dropped on the first time. Came back, did a flurry of combination punches on Lima, dropped him a second time, and then came out a third time. Lima got up a third time, and Boots was able to get him in the corner. He didn't drop him that third time, but a referee stepped in due to Lima being too hurt to basically react to the punches. So it was a great win by Jambu Ennis. Where does he go from here? Well, for starters, I feel like this fight, Boots looked spectacular, right? We're going to keep it 1,000, but at the same time, he could have looked spectacular. He could have did this against Virgil Ortiz, right? I don't know why he needed this tune-up. This guy was not on that level, and it showed. Boots did basically simple thing. And I'm not bashing Boots, right? I want people to understand Boots did a phenomenal job, right? But, was it really necessary for him to take this type of fight? No. Well, we want to see Boots in there with names, right? And that's what we want to see, right? Boots was a unified champion at welterweight. He has to start fighting those names. And I get it. He's frustrated because he looked mad, after he stopped the dude. He was just like, he tired of people, playing with his name. But it's like, dude, you gotta tell Eddie it's time to get names in here. It's time to get, real compo in here. It's time to get me in the ring with real competition. You can't put me in here with a guy who's politically ranked, right? And notice I put emphasis on politically ranked because, you could grease some palms and get this guy ranked, you know what I mean? And put him in the top 10 and say, hey, he's a top 10 guy. It's like, that's cool and all, but we want to see you in there with real competition. We want to see you in there with real talent. And, Lima just not on that level. He may be able to, beat a, C-level, D-level guy, but he's not going to beat the Boots, right? So what we want from Boots is we want Boots to basically fight the Virgil Ortiz, the Sebastian Fundurs, the Bakram Zalevs, the Xander Zayas. We want to see him in there with those type of guys, right? We want to see him in there, that type of talent, right? That's just what it is. I got a lot of respect for Philly. My mom graduated from high school in Philly. You know what I'm saying? I've never been there, you know what I'm saying? But, Philly's a fight town. They're going to support their own, you know what I'm saying? But we got to keep it 1,000, right? It's time for Boots to fight people other than, these people they trying to manufacture him to fight and make him look like he this type of fighter, right? When Boots was fighting on PBC, he was on the come up, right? So, yeah, he fighting those type of fights, yeah. He was on the come up. But now he's a unified champion, right? Or was unified champion at 147. He's at 54 now, right? It's just time for him to basically challenge himself. You know what I'm saying? When you move into this weight class, you got to fight a champion. I got to give Crawford his credit. He moved up from 47. He immediately went after a champion. Now, granted, we were one of the weakest champions, but he went after a champion, right? So, you know, you had the Virgil Ortiz fight, which he's not a champion. He has like the WBC interim belt, but that's still a top fight, right? That's a fight you can fight, you know, other than a title fight. You know what I'm saying? So, Boots is walking out the ring today, a IBO champion, a WBA interim champion, which puts him, I guess, to fight that German dude for the WBA belt, who just basically got elevated to a full champion because Terence Crawford dropped that belt. We just want to see him fight top names. I just want to see him do this against Sebastian Fundora. I want to see him do this against Xander Zayas. I want to see him do this against, Jermell Charlo, Virgil Ortiz, Erickson Lubin, those guys. We want to see Boots in there with those guys. We want to see him perform like this in front of those guys. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it boils down to. Boots has the talent. He has the skill. He has the potential to, be a great fighter in boxing. But, we want to see him in there with those guys. That's the only thing, right? We could sit here and speculate all day and just based off how he's looking against these other guys, these low-level guys. But we want to see him in there with a top name, right? That's just what it boils down to. You know what I mean? We want to see him in there with another guy that's not going to go down so easily. That's going to punch back. That's going to have a good fight plan. That's what it boils down to. But it's a great win for Boots. I think Boots is a spectacular fighter. I think that, Boots, if he keep his head on straight, he potentially could do a lot of great things in boxing. But we want to see it. That's what it boils down to. So, y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Boss Guy.